Welcome back to Peril Pending, and today we're looking at Reform's most cunning plan yet. All of you in the establishment thought Reform had nothing. You thought that they were a bumbling gang of idiots saying the first thing that came into their head. Well, they've finally got their act together because they've got a cunning plan to deal with everybody asking what some would call perfectly legitimate, but those of us who are anti-establishment know as an attack questions. That's what they are. Trying to get the truth out, more like trying to get the attacks out. Today we're looking at an article from The Times titled Reform Tells Councillors to Say Donation Inquiry is a Smear and Hit Job. Let's get into it. Reform UK has instructed its thousands of councillors to describe a police investigation into donations from the mother of George Cottrell as an establishment stitch-up. The Times can reveal. Leaked internal briefing documents circulated to the party's representatives in local government included instructions to respond to questions about the Metropolitan Police investigation with, quotes, "It is now clear that the establishment will try anything to stop us." Yeah, you know what? Reform have got us all beat here. That'll definitely work. Trying to call a perfectly legitimate police investigation into your potential wrongdoings as a smear, but anything to do with Angela Rayner or Zach Polanski, those are legitimate. Those are legitimate investigations. Our investigations, well, they're attacks. Reform, seriously? You've had how long to come up with anything? And this is the best you've got? Maybe as the article goes on, it'll explain some extra dimensions to this plan. Maybe that I'm just not seeing it yet. I'm still too establishment. Party councillors who stood on a law and order ticket, were also instructed to respond to questions with, quote, "The British people are tired of the establishment media doing anything they can to stop reform. A daily routine of hit jobs and smears will not deter us from winning the next general election and fixing broken Britain." I mean, why don't we just bathe me in light blue? Because I am convinced it is time to change everything about this show, because clearly Reform really are the anti-establishment candidates. After hearing those couple sentences, I'm convinced. Why even? Yeah, okay, maybe they broke the law, and yes, I know people in the establishment, they would like the proper steps to be taken to prove innocence or guilt, but really, now I get it, that's actually an attack. We should just take Richard Tice and Nigel Farage and all the rest of those multimillionaires who hang out with criminals. We should just, hang out with the anti-establishment. We should just take their word for things. The briefing includes detailed instructions, might be a problem with that, on how to challenge media scrutiny of the party and Farage's finances and his relation with Cottrell. Or you could just tell the truth, you know? You could even possibly spin it in a way where it's like, oh yes, that happened in the past. We're going to rectify this. We're going to have an internal investigation. That's what the Tories used to always say. It never led anywhere. It was a bit better than just saying it was a stitch-up. One section told councillors how to address Times revelations about Cottrell handing out Reform UK branded business cards with his name on. Yes, that's right, yeah, because they said that he didn't hold any kind of position with them, so it was absolutely fine for him to be giving him all this money, even though he was pictured with him in Clacton in 2024. But apparently all you've got to say is, if George Cottrell has no role in the party... this is the question. If George Cottrell has no role in the party, why does he give out business cards with Nigel Farage's email address, the briefing read? Wow, this is what the question will look like, team. Councillors were told to respond by saying, George Cottrell is an unpaid volunteer I mean, all volunteers unpaid. Great start. With no formal role at Reform UK. Like many thousands of party members, their business cards was designed to help donors or other members of the public easily get in touch with Nigel Farage's office. It was not intended to suggest any formal position or authority. I think the problem is that time has passed since that question first came out, so it gives the impression that you've been spending that time coming up, formulating this excuse as opposed to telling the truth. Because if somebody asks you a question and you answer it honestly, it doesn't require weeks and months to get the answer out. Does it now? They were also told to say of the Sunday Times investigation, which revealed Cottrell's funding of Farage, the establishment media are throwing everything they can at Nigel because they are terrified of reform. I mean, no. It's just asking about an investigation. It's just asking about funding. Reform have been absolutely fine when questions regarding tax and Zach Palancy's houseboat came up, when tax relating to that flat, I believe it was, with Angela Rayner came up. They were even absolutely fine to attack Keir Starmer when he bought that 20k field for some donkeys for his ill mother. But now that it's been pointed at them, it's suddenly a problem. I really don't think you need to have a follow-up here, because obviously, since Reform are a cult, they will just parrot this line. But then they'll be asked, well, what about X and Y? You were fine with that with the Labour Party. What are your candidates supposed to say there? Because they're either just going to repeat this, which will have the opposite effect, or they'll just stutter, which again won't make things look any good. Honestly, if you've got any ideas, please post it below. I wonder if one of us can get a chip in from that 5 million if we give Farage a good enough lineup of questions. Oh, this was my favourite bit. In relation to questions about why Farage was inflicting the costs of a by-election on the public, they were told to say, the cost of a parliament... Yeah, I'm not doing the voice anymore. It was beginning to annoy me. Never mind how you guys are probably feeling about it. The cost of a parliamentary by-election to local authorities is reimbursed by the Treasury. Reform has offered to cover the full cost of the by-election, either by directly covering the costs for tendering district council or by making a voluntary donation to HMRC. A few points here. 1. Obviously, a party running in a by-election cannot pay for the by-election. The party that are trying to say we want to be the next, party in power should really know that, because that will look more corrupt than the cheese I've had in my fridge since 2023. Also, do Reform not know where the Treasury gets its money from? Because that's still taxpayer money. It's just taxpayer money that comes from the Treasury. We pay into that. So it's still at the cost of the taxpayer. If they honestly go out and tell their MPs to say this, and their councillors, to say this, they're just going to look incompetent. They're not going to know, they're going to look like they don't know where taxpayer money comes from. Yeah, I'm sure that's really going to help your I'm an ordinary working man style look you're going for there, Nigel. The people of Clacton will be the judge of Nigel Farage's record and political integrity, not the mainstream media or a kangaroo court in Parliament. The media and opposition parties don't get to be judge, jury and executioner. Again, quite a few points here as well. The media and opposition parties don't get to be judge, jury and executioner. No, they're not. They're not. Nobody is judge, jury and executioner here. First of all, no one's executioner. I would say it's quite wild, considering how hard up they've been playing what happened to Anne Widdecombe. For them to include the word executioner just seems very ill-informed, because you can't play the sad victim and then also be yelling about how you're going to get executed. That's not great. Judge and jury, the independent investigations committee is the judge and jury. The independent, not the media, not the opposition parties. I know Reform keeps saying that's who was judging them, but they were just reporting on the news. What are they not supposed to report on a story about a party taking 5 million from a foreign-based billionaire and lying about it, and then running away to have this by-election. Why? Of course they're going to report on that. They reported on Starmer's field and his glasses. I mean, again, rightly so, but for God knows how long. But this, they should have just left it. Lastly on this, calling the investigations a kangaroo court really isn't a smart idea. Do Reform not remember? I mean, they really should, considering how many Tories are in the party, but do they not remember what happened to Boris Johnson? He got banned from Parliament for calling the investigations into his, I believe it was into Partygate, for calling those a kangaroo court. But by all means, hey, if you want to send all your MPs out to call it a kangaroo court, you're just going to end up signing their, their P60? I've probably got the form wrong. But they'll be gone. You're not allowed to do that. Sarah Pochin, I saw, already did that in a tweet, and I'll have to have a little find to see if that's still up, because it would be pretty ill-advised to start yelling about a kangaroo court when you're trying to, as you say, win a general election. Seriously, if Reform put as much work into yelling about smears, rallying their troops to repeat their lies, if they put as much effort into that as they did into writing policy or coming up with plans that could actually help the country, regardless of who's in power, if you came up with a plan that would actually benefit the country and then the government of the day implemented it, that's a win for you. It's also a win for the country. And that will get supporters on your side. They will see this as being, oh, wow, this policy was so good, the current government have just had no other option but to implement it. And that came from this party that I like. Maybe they'll have more ideas. And maybe they'll be implemented a bit faster if they were the ones in charge. But instead, all Reform do is sow hatred and lies and division. They're only out to ever help their dear leader. But those are just my thoughts. Please leave yours in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you next time while the peril's still pending.